Hey everybody, this is Sonic321. I play the game, so you remember them. Haven't been on lately, but I finally came back with a VG rant. And of course, I'm going to be talking about two of the most famous, one of the most famous and one of the equally, sort of almost, not as equally famous as the other one, but too similar to even be pronounced as equals in any kind of case. I'm talking about Pokemon and Digimon. These two franchises actually have been fighting in a kind of way for a few years, and I even say that they're almost too similar. Okay, first I'm going to start off with the fact of their name. Now, one's called Pokemon and one is called Digimon. Pokemon is pocket monsters for short. Digimon is digital monsters for short. Is those kind of names the same? If you just take off the pocket and the digital, they both have monsters, don't they? And it's sort of the same in story-wise too, but of course not completely because they have differences. Okay, let me talk about the Pokemon story. I'm only going to talk about Season 1 because the other seasons are a little too much to handle. Especially with Pokemon, how many seasons they made, almost like 15. Well, anyways, Pokemon Season 1. It's about Ash starting off his adventure with his pal Pikachu and fighting to become the Pokemon Master. That's pretty much the gist of it. Along with his friends Brock and Misty, and Misty was once a gym leader before, and Brock was once a gym leader too, but wants to be a Pokemon breeder, I think. And and Pikachu still hasn't evolved, so if you were to see the later seasons, just expect that. Anyways, now for Digimon Season 1. Digimon Season 1 is about 7 kids that end up going into a digital world. Digimon, digital world. Pretty much, you should have known that. And end up fighting little monsters called Digimon that could evolve, sort of like Pokemon, and get stronger, just like Pokemon. And they have to try to defeat these evil mastermind Digimon that tries to take over the digital world. So in a way, yeah, they're not that similar, but the way they do it is similar. I can't really say the way their voices are similar because Ash sounds like a girl, and the reason why, and this is something I just now known, he was voiced by a girl in the first season. I actually did not know that. And it was some useful information that in Japan it was said for girls to talk for, the young boys, because when us girls try to talk like boys, we sound like prepubescent or boys that are going through puberty. So yeah, in a way like that. In Digimon, there's 7 main characters, while in Pokemon there are 3. But either way, you can still say they're similar, because in these 2 game shows, all that were fighting in a way, because Digimon kept trying to make more and more just like Pokemon were. Like they trying to make, like they did Digimon Tamers, Digimon Data Squad, Digimon. I can't think of any of the other ones, but they made quite a few. But I don't know where it stopped. I know there was one that was in Japanese that I can't seem to remember right now. But yeah, Pokemon, you already know, went on forever. It's still on Cartoon Network. It comes on way early in the morning. So yeah, you already know Pokemon's still going. So, and with that, do you say they still seem similar? Pokemon was more popular because it came around first, and it had a simple story. A kid's trying to make it to his goal of being a Pokemon master, collecting Pokemon, doing all this. It came first with the game, the show, and the whole product. So when they made Digimon, they was like, huh, that's almost like Pokemon. So it shouldn't be that important, or, well, it shouldn't be that entertaining, would it? But, of course, I can't lie and say I was entertained when I first saw that show. I mean, and I can't lie that I haven't seen all the other seasons, too. All the other seasons of Digimon. But, still, I felt that it was more similar to Pokemon, or trying to copy off of Pokemon, than trying to be its own show. Because, of course, it was, you know, making that rivalry thing, you know, like in the Pokemon games where you go against the rival all the time. Just making that rivalry thing against two people. You know, talk about friendship with sort of like Pokemon. When they have friends around, they try to fight for them and all that stuff. So, yeah. It was especially explaining that in the first season. So, it was definitely pretty obvious. And then the games, me comparing the two games, Pokemon Heart Gold with Digimon Data Squad, the game. Pokemon Heart Gold was a game where you're this trainer and you know, the same musical Pokemon thing where you know, play and try to catch as much Pokemon as you can and trying to beat all the gym leaders and, you know, going to different regions and yeah, so with that, you also had to you also constantly have to run into the rivals, or heck, just constantly run into trainers, and you also have random encounters, and then you also have other stuff too. And of course, all of this was in 2D. I mean, they haven't been making any 3D ones lately, well, except for the new one coming out called Pokemon X and Y. And Digimon Data Squad, the game, to be honest, have this game. Just like the Pokemon, it has random encounters. You're constantly in conflict with your rival. You always have to end up having to, you know, try and make your Digimon go into different forms. I mean, seriously, in this one, you got different chains of Digivolutions, because Digimon are just packs and packs of data. So unlike Pokemon where they can't change back, the Digimon can change back into their original forms, which isn't a good thing if you're trying to fight a very strong Digimon. So in any case, Digimon is sort of in an advance of Pokemon with the evolution thing, but that was a good idea. I mean, yeah, that made sense. So yeah, that's all I really have to say. So, which one wins out of the both of them? I would mostly say Pokemon, because Pokemon has more into their franchise, more into their story, more into their gameplay, and Digimon is sort of just like ripping off from Pokemon, just that they thought of their own different kind of style. I mean, it was original for them to be digital monsters, but did they really have to make the same name? I mean, they could have thought of all kinds of different names for that show. Like, I can't think of any, but you know, they can make something different. Well, that's all I really have to say. So, yeah, that was actually a pretty long rant. I made up for all the times I haven't been making videos. So, anyways, this is Kingdom Sonic 321. Finally back. I play the games so you remember them.